Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bouba Babble episode. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll put in a little thing here. I don't know. It'll be on the thing.
It's 11 because it's November. It's not that hard at this point.
Wow.
Oh, because we started in January.
Yeah. I don't know why you found it so
much. I'm like, well, after what? Actually, these aren't. No, this is the good tweezers. Never mind. I found the good tweezers for all my anxious hair picking needs and wants. So that'll be over here.
This is the perfect time to say hi to everyone joining us after we published the relay video. This is the kind of, if you thought that was quality content that we put out earlier, get used to Miles announcing their skin picking habits.
I rarely have a filter, and especially now. It's great.
Love that.
But we have a purpose today.
And I love that for the people at home as well.
I do too. Bless our little hearts.
Mm-hmm.
We have our ostentatiously awesome orthographic allotted there. But Jonathan is here. Hello.
I don't know about. Well, I'm just gonna let it slide. It's fine.
Also, awesome doesn't start with O, Miles.
What?
You said ostentatiously awesome orthographic.
Well, yeah, the vowel is similar, and I kind of went like
I guess
that.
it's assonance. I was being a bit of an assonance. It doesn't work in British English, but anyway.
But our goal,
let's keep going
today, but we have a goal for Lexember, and that is to finish this font. We are nearly there. Oh,
well, to be clear, the goal is to have it finished by Lexember, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not like an unveiling during. Well,
yeah.
Yes.
Also, I mean, let's not confuse font and script here, because the script is close to done. The font has just begun, and we probably will not be showing that on screen, but it has started. Actually, I started the other day.
Yeah.
Mostly, well, we can talk specifics about how it's going to get typed, because that might be kind of confusing, but we can talk about that off stream.
But we have, I think we're 75% done according to our calculations, more or less.
Let's see.
Yeah, nearly so.
Come on, maths curriculum organizer.
Yeah. We'll see if I am too, but I mean, fingers crossed. But yeah, 70 means 27 over 36 is 3/4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Slightly more, because we do have one glyph that hasn't yet gotten a sound assigned to it. So, the knife from the end of last time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into new glyphs, though, do we want to talk about what's on screen? A little bit. There's a couple.
I feel like you're the best placed to introduce what's going on.
So I was just testing out some roots. Some of them are real roots, some of them are not. Going from proto forms to modern forms, trying to figure out how spelling is going to work. So there's a lot of vowel insertion, most of which, I guess all of which, is inserted schwas that then become other things. And there's no proto E, that is A, or E, but it is always, I think, always predictable as to whether a schwa will become E versus something else based on the environment. So it's actually going to get written with the same letter that you have for A. I'm looking for an example. So if you look at the third line, the second letter in the modern forms is the A. And then if you, are there any E's? Oh yeah, right. The last two actually are a pair that are spelled the same, because cool things happen. So basically, depending on where the schwa gets inserted, it might change in different ways, but we don't actually mark whether it's a schwa that results from stuff happening versus a vowel that is original to the root. So we can get some cool little things like that going on.
I love that.
Otherwise, I mean, there's a few things left to figure out, like how some of the palatal sounds will be spelled, because we have letters for some of them, but not all of the ones that appear in the modern language. And I have a feeling we want to be sort of somewhere on the conservative-ish side with that. Like we can deal, 36 letters is enough. We can figure it out.
For sure.
We don't need even more than that. So, yeah. I actually did have a question for you two. Does the sound always become double M, or does it ever show up as anything else?
I think it always becomes double M. But
It seems like that way looking at like the sound changes, but I couldn't think if there might be exceptions for some reason.
no, because the qu and gu always become but and bu.
Okay. I wanted to mention one other thing I remembered, which is there were a couple letters which, as I was writing stuff out and trying things, I found were a little too easy to mix up both in writing and reading. So I decided to make them a little more distinguishable. So specifically the maple seed, which starts off like this, and I had in the sort of fancy version ending kind of like that. And then I think it turned into that in handwritten. It was too similar to our friend the carrot, which basically ends up as that.
Yeah.
And also to the other one, which is the other one. Oh no, I should know this.
Is it bowl?
Or like the
No, I have to look.
W looking guy.
Rabbit?
No. Oh god.
The ladle, maybe. No.
I thought I knew. Well, in any case,
Yeah.
I decided to exaggerate the it's B. Which one is B?
Oh, that is arm.
Well,
Arm or hand.
Oh,
yeah. Wait, now I'm really confused.
Yeah, hand. Both for hand.
Did I mess something up? Oh no.
very exciting.
I'm sorry. I am confused now.
Are we gonna turn this into a musical?
Oh, it's hand, not arm. Those are two different ones. That's what
Yes.
confused me. I was thinking of the arm glyph, but
Hand is bull, and then arm
so
is
that
bull.
one was like this,
Hmm.
and it ended up like this. So those are all like kind of V shapes. So basically, what I decided to do was exaggerate, leave this one as it is and exaggerate the differences with the other ones. So the curve that way just gets really extreme and crosses over now for B.
Okay.
And for this one, I decided to keep the little seed bit of the seed. And so that one is more like that now. So you've got this sort of distinguishing thing on the left, sort of regular V with a little curve, and this. And I think
I feel like that's the sort of thing where if we were to use this in a relay, you'd have to be really careful with your handwriting.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Maybe for the carrot. Well, the problem is, I even wonder if you need a full closure on the other side, because
of which? Of the first
for
one?
the top one.
Yeah.
Because I think that
if you overdo this curve, right, it could look like that. Maybe. I think for now this is probably okay.
Yeah.
Especially because this middle one could just sort of straighten out a little bit. And as long as you have that distinct thing there, and this one's gonna be distinct
for sure,
regardless. I think.
And I mean, like, the U and a V, like in like fast parlance, are like gonna be indistinguishable too. And I mean, we've seen all like Russian like Cyrillic curses, so God forbid.
So okay, that's I think where we're at, just to catch up from last time.
Okay,
now we can start making new stuff.
Woo!
Yay.
Oh my gosh, that's a very wet pit right there. Jesus.
Okay. You know that there's a good chance they wouldn't have seen any of that,
Well, I
depending on
don't.
who
I'm
talked
not
last.
kidding.
Okay.
There's
They're
no
missing out. They're missing out.
They're missing out on a lot of stuff.
We don't know what our fans are looking for. Actually, we do based on YouTube, and it's autism therapy. And you're not going to find it here, folks. Lean into it.
No,
Lean in.
So where do we want to start? Oh, we should start with knife, because we have the glyph.
Correct.
It comes from a knife that sort of looks like this, right?
Little like ulu sort of thing.
And it goes kind of like that. The bottom line may or may not straighten out to varying degrees depending on the style.
Yeah.
So what is that gonna be? Looks like we had some ideas.
We thought about whether it would have the adjective, but we have both the
adjective.
Sorry, I'm just like I see it and I think glottal, and I know that that's wrong.
Yeah, I know that it's wrong too, because the literal lecture code had it wrong for like so long until I like fixed it.
I mean, the flap was also wrong, and then I had to fix that as well.
Ooh.
So that's what the 0.3 version is for.
0.3.
You're getting the real tea
Yeah,
here, how the behind the scenes.
Yeah, this is the behind the scenes.
This
is the veil.
Is the parking lot behind the theater, where we fight.
And then will not be found there.
There's blood on the floor. There's broken glass. There's a needle in the rubbish bin.
Yeah, come on, rubbish needle.
But,
you were thinking like a pharyngalized like T or S for this. I've been
randomly generating roots, and I saw CAD, and I thought the decoder feels like a strong, sharp ending. You know. And also, the problem is that the word pad for English speakers does not sound strong or sharp.
Yeah, but what is it? It becomes pad with I forget which tone. Calling? Rising?
It's unspecified right now. Well, with the D, it would be rising.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay.
I feel like sounds dramatic, at least.
It also, with the rising tone, it feels like the sort of rocking motion you get with one of these knives, right?
Yeah, like the
feels like Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay.
So we're going with Todd.
Got there first. All right. 8 to go. So we have some new ideas in our spreadsheet. Any of these speaking to you in particular?
Do we want to go through the ones that I had earmarked for speed? Or I feel like we should do the wine series, actually.
Sure.
I think that's a nice set, which would be good to get done before we run out of time.
Okay. So the wine series being a wine, like a clay pot for storing wine, right? Yeah, that's for a wine press and a wine skin.
The press doesn't necessarily have to be for wine, just a crushing mechanism.
Okay. I was going to say, I like when I Google wine press, because I'm not super familiar, these are a little complicated looking, just in terms of...
Have you seen, like, olive presses?
At some point, I'm sure I have.
Okay. Like, they...
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah, just something with a... I'm imagining something with a basin, and there's something above it that crushes it.
Right. So a lot of these ones I'm seeing, it looks like a big roundish stone that you like roll around, sort of.
Oh yeah, like with like the donkey attached to it.
Did you call it a donkey?
Donkey.
Oh, donkey.
What did you think?
I like donkey with a G.
Donkey?
Donkey.
Donkey. So it's always something my students would have called me, like when I was working still there, like when I moved back.
Runky the donkey.
Oh my god.
Aw. I mean, I know why they would call me a donkey. Someone didn't get a good grade on their thing. No, I'm kidding.
The government's gonna come for you, Miles. If you keep
Oh, please, comments come for me.
So I'm just sort of like illustrating what I'm seeing in reference photos. This is not what they would actually be drawing, probably. It's like a big thing, maybe a little central axis, and then like a thing you push around, and that spins around and crushes stuff. So, overly simplified side view.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that, right?
a duck.
I think you're a tank or a duck. It gives like Wii Sports tank.
I feel like this is like a psychology test. Do you see a duck or a tank?
And the really special people see the olive press. Some of them have like a double thing. It looks like.
Come on, efficiency.
With a central axis, so you can just, you know.
That's smart.
Actually, that could be something.
Yeah, our people are efficient.
Just like us.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So thinking about like, so you have, if the two stones simplify to just little vertical strokes, and then you've got like, that with or without that bit.
This is almost exactly like the glyph that I made for Yadplow for two people sitting in a canoe.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's still quite different from our typical glyphs for this.
It's got a few too many
lines
right now.
The most we currently have is two. And I think there's only one glyph that actually has two so far. So we do probably want a couple more that have 2 lines. If we do it as a single one, so like it would be offset. Or would there be any that are like, I don't know how it would work if it was centered. I'm seeing some, but I don't get how these function.
Either like
my guess is that the centered ones are probably working more like well, you have the ones that press down.
Yes.
And these ones are pressing around, right?
Yes.
So, because the ones that press down, you have the olives in like something that can be squished, and then you increase the pressure.
Yeah, no. Well, it doesn't matter so much because I think this one makes sense. It's just one of these pictures. I think it's put together wrong or something, but because it's clearly this style, it's got the turny thing, but it's just right in the center, so it doesn't have anywhere to go. But if we have it off center, right, that could be like it could go to something like that. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
And then that could curve to sort of match the style.
Let me get it. Where's my note? Oh, it's in there. Hold on. Yeah, that's kind of like where I was thinking.
Yeah,
I like that. It feels quite Arabic.
Also, always good to try the mirrored version. You know, that sometimes confuses me.
And we have like the glyph that looks like that too.
Oops.
We have the one that kind of looked like that already. It was escaping me. I forget what it is. Like the flower.
The starfish.
The starfish. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Could also be good to keep this one as 2 strokes.
Yeah, I think 2 is.
So could be like.
I actually really like the first one you did with
this
the 2 strokes.
Yeah.
It's nice. I feel like it's a little awkward to reproduce just because what I've found is when you have 2 strokes, but one of them has to start from like on the other stroke, it often gets a little bit off. Like they end up overlapping or not meeting or something like that. And I don't know. What if?
Could it be like you kind of start that kind of like starfish loop and then they just like across through it, through the kind of like the leaf part, if that makes sense?
So you mean like this one, but or
Like the one above it, but instead of kind of like flowing through that kind of last stroke to go forward, you kind of just like stop at that intersection and just pick up and cross it. Yeah. And then just, yep. There is
That's
a kind
interesting.
of stroke.
That's very different from anything we have.
But you do get the sense that you have the ball and then the
Crane.
sense that there's a stick that's running through the
Yeah, I kind of like
way.
it. I do feel like in handwriting it might just go to
I
that,
think it will too.
but
Yeah.
it could be 2 strokes in the other version or something.
Yeah,
Um, could also end up shortening that way, although we don't want it to go too short because
Yeah.
I kind of like some variant on this. And do we have a sound in mind?
not for the press yet.
So, that feels like a nice squished sound.
Son. Son.
Son works for me.
With an O?
Yeah, S-O-N.
Okay, cool.
We can steal a. You wouldn't steal a diacritic. No, it's not
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say I'll just circle this whole row and we'll figure it out specifically later. Cool. So wine skin. You had also talked about what is it? It's a gourd, right?
Yeah, calabash gourd, yeah.
Yeah. I need a reference for that.
But they have very similar shapes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a little notepad just to kind of play along at home. So I'll be right back.
Yeah. It'll also help me understand when you describe things.
I know. Yeah.
I'm not good at visualizing.
So
Yeah.
I mean the gourds and the wineskins have very similar shapes, which I guess is why they have similar functions.
I mean, you basically have a bulbous thing and then a narrow end, right?
Yeah.
And there are sort of, I mean, it seems like a lot of them will go like that, and that way you're not spilling. There's a lot of things we can do with that. It's actually pretty similar.
Or they have like a kind of flatter bottom.
Oh, okay.
That one I didn't give a flat bottom, but like if it's a gourd, it's got like a kind of, like the bottom of a pumpkin. The more that you emphasize the kind of shape, the more it looks a bit like terribles.
Is this what? Oh,
slightly scrotal, which is not ideal.
That's a great band name. A great band name.
Slightly
scrotal.
I like the first wineskin that Jonathan drew.
Like the bulbous one.
So I see. I'm like when I Google like wine calabash, I'm seeing also a lot that have like a flared top, kind of like that, to varying degrees. I don't know, or even I mean, there's all sorts of funky shapes. It looks like.
Oh
yeah, I mean, the plants grow how they grow.
Yeah. What I was going to say about this first one is that it is reminiscent of a mirrored version of the foot glyph, which
what would that be like?
Ends up like this. So you'd end up with. I don't want to do too many mirrored pairs because we already have a few.
Yeah, we have the whole kind of
that set.
Yeah.
But what? I don't see why they would do that.
That's nice.
That is nice.
Something like that, maybe.
Like
Does that work?
Someone with an Elvis quiff.
Quiff?
Go.
We like this?
I do like this.
I think it's pretty
Yeah.
good. Do we want to just see if we like it?
No.
No, doesn't hit.
No.
It is gone.
No.
Okay. And this will be. Did we have
I think this is the Polu that you had, Jay, that you were thinking of.
The polo, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is Quab, which becomes, but
Yeah. So it's Clue and
Clue.
Clue sounds like a children's book character or something.
Clue.
I like it.
I'm a raging Clue.
You're a raging.
It was this one thing from South Park where they play the Hardy Boys, and it's yeah. Oh, I love that show way too much for my own good. It's really terrible.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is a calabash. Nice.
Cool. And then the last potential one in the series would be the clay pot, right? Which could we were talking about having potentially the word itself could just be the word for wine because that's what it's stored in, but it's actually a depiction of the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a particular shape that would have, or is it kind of just like?
I feel it's quite hard because obviously wine wine is in like grape wine emerges in like one place.
Yeah.
So I feel like the other thing is that we already have like a calabash inspired one, which is like where I feel a lot of other things go. So going for something more amphora shaped, I think is the natural choice.
Mm-hmm.
You see some of them where like obviously Greek amphora are kind of designed to sit upright, right?
Yeah.
There are some from Georgia, I think, where they're designed to sit on the ground at that sort of angle so that the top of the pot naturally remains up, but it doesn't have to be kept vertical. It can sit on the side. But that's also, again, very similar to how wineskin has been.
Yeah,
this is
we
more
also
of a
don't have to
wineskin
have
shape here.
all three of these.
Yeah.
But
I think you could draw the liquid inside of it.
Oh, that's fun.
Like, do you know the character for alcohol in hand characters?
I do not.
Okay. So I don't know which ones people know well and which ones people don't.
Assume
none of
no
them.
knowledge.
Okay. So you can see that, like, on the left, I actually don't know what the pronunciation of the original one. I think it's the vinegar or something. But you can see that you have a depiction of the top of a bottle. Also, this is going to be really horrible of me, but can you try and write it?
I can try.
Okay, so first off, you do the 3 dots. So dot down, and then you go from bottom to top.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you do the line across the top. Then I would do, so you do the first line of the thing that's representing the bottle.
Which one is the first one?
The rectangle. And it's the line from top to bottom on the left side.
Yeah, okay.
Then you do the top of the bottle and the bottom. Then you do the 2 legs.
The 2 legs.
The 2 lines that intersect the top of the bottle and
these.
That basically represent the neck of the bottle. And then you do the line which is the liquid, and then the bottom of the bottle.
I will say,
in order.
For someone who, like, I'm looking at it like on Wiktionary, that is creepily good for not.
Oh no, I'm looking at a reference. I'm not. I didn't. Just,
damn it.
They pasted it in the spreadsheet. I was carefully looking and just listening for what the order was.
You're just gonna going off their description. Like, oh my
That
god,
was
he's just
amazing.
good. Oh.
Oh my
Ooh.
god.
So
So
yeah,
Oh, like Baiju. That means white
Yo.
liquor.
you'll
I'm a
sorry.
Chinese. There we go.
what were you specifically getting at with this glyph?
Because you can see from the glyph that it has a representation of the liquid being inside
Yes.
of the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a long way of getting to that point.
Okay. What if? Okay, here's an idea.
Oh, this is also the glyph used in Japanese for sake.
So basically the same as the other one, but with the extra line, or it could be.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And we have the other glyph with the
I kind of
line
like
for
the separate stroke better.
it. Yeah.
Cool. It is done.
Done.
And this wants to be ras, or do we want something else for that?
I like das. I can't roll my R's, so
Really?
yeah.
I thought you would be able to.
Mhm.
I
No.
assumed I had heard you do it at some point.
I think that I think it happens spontaneously from time to time. That I can't reliably roll my R's.
I trip over them when there's too many.
Mm-hmm.
I like when I'm practicing Yiddish or whatever, I will just switch between uvular and roll and alveolar R because both of them give me different problems. Like if I have too many, you know, but then they'll also gets me sometimes because I can't reliably trill it.
Mm-hmm.
I had like such a hard time like just pronouncing like initial R's or like initial L's. Kind of like even like sometimes now I still have issue with it, especially because like I couldn't say that I was a religion major for a long while because
Were
like,
you?
yeah.
Wow.
So like I just was like it was just like I couldn't even start it. But like
Wait,
yeah.
did we not need the? We did need the R, didn't we?
Mhm.
Oh, there
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
It's there.
And in any case, we would have just. I mean, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We also had talked about not using the tas as the
Yeah, I think that's a bit much. I like
a
the
lot.
word, and it's good for the meaning thicket, but
I don't think we're
I'm gonna
good.
draw thicket.
Into the
I feel like the pomegranate would also make sense being not that different to this.
Yeah, it might. It's probably gonna be too similar, and I don't want to.
So you could do like, you know, if you have a ripe pomegranate, you can tear it into chunks. So you could do like because it's got like the crown at the top and then half.
Half.
I was imagining like a
Yes.
chunk of pomegranate with
Just the chunk.
yeah,
Uh,
and then yeah.
eh.
But I don't. Yeah, it's not. The detail's not going to survive.
Yeah, and then I mean, if it's laying on its side, then it's kind of like the bowl. What do we think about? I mean, mountain would be a really easy one. It could just be that. You know, it doesn't even have to change very much.
And then we can do the full Kiki style.
Yeah.
Well, we have that.
Yeah.
Do we? Oh, right. So if we.
So that one of them could be moon. From like a crescent moon to.
I don't know why it would get pointy though.
For like analogy with the other ones.
Right, but we do have this as a glyph, so why would it not?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, should we say that the other one is moon for that?
Can you say it again?
Shall we go with? I know that was a bit rushed, but shall we call the flipped one of the other circle the glyph for moon?
Sure, why not?
Because I don't think we're going to get much more creative with it.
No, not with moon. I don't think.
Not with moon.
I mean, how could you?
I mean, it could be a whole moon, but we already have an olive, and those two things look the same, as we all know.
I feel like one of these could be I, maybe with another line.
Yeah, I think so as well.
So far, I believe that all of our creature glyphs are, if they're pointing either left or right, they're pointing left. There's turtle and goat, which are sort of head on
Mhm.
or top down, but all the other ones are pointing left. So the eye should be facing left, I think.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense? I feel like that parallelism is probably a thing that would, and of course now that's making me think they should be writing right to left if that's the case. But I don't. That's fine. It's fine. It could be a thing. They're looking back at the words that have already been written.
Mhm. Well, they're looking the way for you to start.
That's very goofy.
I'll draw out what I
What I was gonna say is that could turn into like.
I was thinking like that.
Oh, I see. Yes, I've done. I used basically that exact thing. I think in multiple scripts before.
Yeah.
If it's looking that way, maybe.
I just don't know how many ways there are to like represent an eye.
What if it's a pair of eyes? Like they do tend to go together.
They do.
They do.
They do.
I don't know about the dots, but there's your emoji. So like if almost becomes like a cartoony like 3D eye thing, you know?
I kind of like the little the little badubada.
It's giving very Babbies, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's also making me think of like early Olive, but rotated.
Yeah.
I
feel like you would end up with them looping together.
That's what I'm trying to figure out how it would work. I kind of like the idea of having a few more two-stroke glyphs just for
but or like if it was like no, like more like
oh
yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, that did not go the way I wanted it to. No, wait, did I misunderstand?
Yeah. It was. I meant not that to the first one. There's obviously like a latency problem because the very first time Jonathan attempted it, they messed it up quite a bit.
Oh, yes, the one that is already gone.
What?
Never mind. Doesn't matter. I don't know because the issue with that I see is you're never going to be writing it like this in an earlier stage. So why would you split up the glyph? Like I guess if it's a whole circle and a partial one, you could do it that way. But I would almost see that more likely to.
If you started like doing it that way, I don't know because we do have our curves generally going this way. We do have the only one before we had the moon glyph. We had our circles going that way, so it was like you're doing your circle, you're doing the other one, and then you're
that way. But
okay, yeah, fair.
I don't know. I kind of. Can we try it as a two-stroke thing? How could that work?
Well, you've done it as two-stroke, haven't you?
Right, but I mean, how? Like, I didn't quite get to a finish point that I liked. Oh. What if the other one just sort of like shrinks to almost nothing? Oh, you know what? We have a glyph that looks like that.
It's also a little bit like an eyeball that's been taken out of something with the optical nerve.
Yes,
No.
expose those nerves. Yeah,
Which I think is actually
yeah.
kind of cool as a representation.
Well, the other thing is, if we do the single eye, and then the extra stroke is some form of pupil, which is probably going to go from being a dot to a line of some sort.
Or some sort of Q glyph. Yeah.
No, there's that nerve again.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, what if you do in that order? That feels really natural.
Yeah.
Because you're doing this sort of overall. I mean, it could become that, which looks
Yeah.
It's one stroke, which I didn't intend, but it looks very in line with some of the other ones. I don't think it's too close to any of them. I'd have to double check.
It's almost like a reverse of the turtle, but different enough that it looks correct.
Distinct.
Do we like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just gonna sort of put it over these generally, and we can.
How did you feel about "na" as a form?
Nah.
Sure.
Nah. Nah.
I just wanted something very simple, and also,
Yeah.
although on some level it's like, oh, do you assign the really common sounds to the glyphs that you like the most? I think this would work well, especially I could almost imagine like a combining form where that first line links up with not saying that you should program this in, but like where the end of the previous glyph goes into the.
I see what you mean. I don't intend to do that.
Yeah.
I do expect there to be multiple versions of this font because I have some plans, but I don't know that that's going to happen specifically.
That's fine.
Okay.
Fork?
Oh, we have moon also. What was the form for moon? We didn't write it down.
It
Or
was
did we not
the
decide one?
reverse
One.
of the.
I mean the actual word, the sound.
We didn't make
How
up.
about JUS?
Yes.
You. Yeah, sure.
You.
Okay.
You.
Oh, you.
You.
Okay, cool. Did I write that down anywhere? No. Cool. That means this is y and this is l, which feels
Natural.
yeah, I don't know, just they go together. It works.
Yeah. So I think then we just got
4 to go.
We got 3 to go.
3?
Yeah. We got K, Z, and S. That's it.
Well, why does it say 4 here? Oh, because I didn't put a check mark. Ta-da. Okay.
And this fucker can go away. Oh, sorry, internet. My bad.
So
one question is, so we had to cut some stuff out in the middle. I do not know how long we'll need to record for to get to an hour. And I don't think we have to do exactly an hour, but I do think we need to go on a bit longer than we have.
Well, that's fine because we have a little bit left to do, and we can talk about putting it together once we have everything.
Speak of the devil. Not really, but just like because I'm looking at the thing, but like we also have mountain that we have that glyph for, and we can just call it like.
Oh, did we not decide that one?
No.
Oh, it's not ticked. No.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
KA, make it easy. Mountain.
Okay.
Is that? It's part Data, isn't it?
Oh no! Now I gotta look. Let's look.
I think it's pa.
It's pa, yeah, because
So we need to make it ta in another language.
yes.
I don't remember off the top of my head any of my words for mountain.
This was like is it the very first word in the syllabary?
Bottle, right?
Pa would be the first word in the syllabary. Yeah.
Okay, so we need S and we need Z. I feel like air or wind would both be very sound symbolic for S or Z.
Yeah, so for that one, almost anything could work. I was just thinking some sort of like squiggly thing, which could turn into virtually anything whatsoever. So
Perfect.
Mhm.
and I think you're right about it working well for. Of course, I don't want that exact shape to. Why is this not writing?
Mhm.
Yeah. It shouldn't be
But,
the
you know,
squiggly of the Z and the S respect.
Oh, it's frozen. That's why. Yeah.
I'm trying to think about.
Oh, Jesus.
I guess it unfroze. Okay.
I'm trying to imagine like what their cultural idea of wind would be like.
I was thinking like, I mean, I guess my general idea was almost like a slightly broader term of like atmosphere, like the air, the sky, the wind, just, you know, that might be too broad, but
How many glyphs do we have with the line going through?
I don't know.
Because I'm imagining like a representation of like a tree or something. And tree is another glyph that we want, but I'm imagining like a tree glyph and then maybe one that's bending over with the line through for the wind.
Oh, that's fun. I would
do
not have thought of that. So if we want to say those are our last two, I mean, hypothetically.
Yeah.
What kind? I mean,
Olive
I was
tree?
thinking. Sorry.
Olive tree?
Yeah.
No.
Let me just look up a reference to make sure it's not like, because
How different is it a tree?
well, those are very sturdy, aren't they? I don't know how much they're gonna bend in the wind.
There's the very famous Van Gogh painting of olive trees bending in the wind.
Well, okay.
Oh.
I'm looking at some particularly sturdy ones then, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a thick boy right there. It's a big old trunk.
Well, I guess you can't.
Then you're just kind of squiggly.
It doesn't look especially windy, actually. Having looked at it again.
Yeah.
But I also think like judging from the images that I'm looking at, because the trunk looks so like
chunky,
thick, it doesn't seem like it's going to be like reduced down that much. Probably like some like older ones. Like there's one that kind of just looks like it's kind of like a big trunk with like two different kind of like branches coming off of it. Like kind of.
What
like
about what are those ones that they have? Cypress. Cypress is what I was thinking of. Because those are very tall and thin, and so I'm pretty sure those would be, and a cypress tree. I mean, it's basically like that shaped, and that could become a really simple glyph that's just like a vertical line.
Do we have one like that yet?
A vertical line? No.
Oh, let's go with that then.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we can have the line bend when the wind goes through.
Maybe with that too, and then we'd literally just have an F.
Yes.
It could go the other way. It could.
7. Yes.
I think that the F is actually quite cool.
I like the F. Yeah.
Especially like I know that like we're like, oh, it's an F, but to me I see the other one and I see like the aspirated K in Korean.
Yeah, I see that too.
So you can't really escape the similarities.
Yeah, there's only so many.
Basic, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
What about like if the whole line is a bit more diagonal?
I think that's cool as well.
And it kind of like does obscure the effery of it, no pun intended.
Yeah. And it could
we around and found out.
We FAFO'd this ish. Good job, everybody.
Is that the last one?
That is the last one. We have to make
we need to make
for it. That's it.
We have to what?
We have to make the words for it.
Oh yeah. So I'm assuming we want Z and S, but I don't know why I'm assuming
Do
that.
we want like SVS for the? Is that too obvious?
You say
S what?
For like cis, we're not going with cis.
no.
So
Ooh.
it would be sus, sus, or sas. Or
Ooh.
do we just want to go with like si, sa, so, or su?
I feel like having the coda is good
Yeah.
because it
Like,
just also feels like a word that should have
Mm.
a contour,
Mhm.
you know.
I think SUS.
And that's gonna be falling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, falling. Su.
So
Su,
Su.
su,
wait, why are you rising? You're rising, aren't you?
You're
su,
doing su.
su. Oh yeah, su,
Su.
So
su, sus.
Su, 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 su.
Like in susurrus.
yeah.
Air,
I
wind.
think in Valia it's he. He is wind, if I remember right.
Which means that we've got Z for tree.
Yes.
I feel like we could get away with a cluster because Z by itself doesn't feel especially treey.
You're right.
As long as that cluster is not
Like-
with a D. So like
Wait, so this would then become sta, which I don't want.
I don't want that either. As
I
long
would
as
prefer zda to sta.
we have Zda, but we all have like Olive is
Oh,
Z.
Zra would stay, wouldn't it?
Zra could
Zra.
That's fun.
Zra. Yeah, Zra would stay. I'm going to
Fun true.
I mean,
Zra?
unless we wanted to do like Zara, like the fast fashion brand.
I think just
It
the
would
Z.
end up as Za.
Oh, with the
Zra.
differentialized R in the middle.
Za.
Ah, that's fun.
It is fun.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay.
Done.
Yay.
Mission complete.
Mission complete. I'm sorry, Hal, but I cannot let you exit. I know that's not.
Oh. I
There
think
was-
that we can end things there, then.
yeah,
you want to
I
talk
feel
about
like there was
spelling
something I
for a
wanted to do, but I don't know. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Spelling.
Yeah. I want to get stuff, just get the notes organized, but I'll do that off stream.
Mm-hmm.
And we can work out details of certain spelling things in the future.
For sure. Cool
Hooray.
beans. Cool. Goodbye, human audience.
Bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoy the editing we do of this episode.